Spencer, baby, how are you? This is your mommy, right?
This is his little trainer here.
Masray Ayars?
Masray, yes.
San Francisco?
Yes, in fact, I was raised on a farm in Santa Cruz County. Where I had doggies and cats and pigs and goats and...
You train dogs, all kinds of animals for stars and famous people?
No, I just train doggies, and I train for everybody. I have a few celebrities
like
in my list. So I have Art Linkletter, and my latest is Bruce Springsteen. And Anita Pointer and Pam Dauber. I'm just going to sit here and name drop. And Richard Dreyfuss.
This dog I love. This is my favorite. It's Cocker Spaniel.
Oh, aren't they great? They are. I think they're America's dog.
It's true.
When you think of a Cocker Spaniel, you think of America.
And the name is Spencer. Where'd you get that name from?
Well, the owner is a wonderful, wonderful man, Stan Hanman, at the Improv. I think you know Stan.
He's a lawyer.
And yes, and he owns little Spencer. Spencer's 2 years old. He's had 6 sessions with me, which consist of the sit, stay, down, come, and heel. Those are your basic commands. And, you know, not to jump on people.
Are some dogs difficult?
Yes. Try a bulldog. That's very difficult.
Is it?
I'm in a motion picture called Mom as an actress, and I have a beautiful role, but also I had to train a 1.5-year-old brindle bulldog to sit, stay, and come. It was almost impossible. I had like 4 weeks to get him ready. It was almost impossible, but we pulled it off.
You sang. You were a singing waitress in San Francisco somewhere?
No, at the Gaslight Club at the Beverly Hilton Hotel. That's where I met my husband. I do musical comedy. I've done quite a few musical comedies.
I hear you have a great voice.
Yeah. You didn't expect that,
No, I did not, but I heard you.
That's enough, right?
Actress got into teaching animals.
I mean, it doesn't sound, it's a bit mixed up. But you know, acting, I think, for me, is the same as obedience dog training because you have to believe it. I say to my clients, or my clients say to me, why can't my doggies sit and stay and do all the things they do for you? And I say, because you don't mean it. And as an actor, we have to mean what we're saying. We have to feel it. So I train the same way, with a lot of love, and
Are you with the animal people at Sampa Furs against...
Yes, I am!
Are you really?
Yes, I am, but let me tell you something. I don't know, you know, I have my certain feelings. I am a fur owner. I was, as a, about 1.5 years ago. I no longer have any furs. I also ate up until about 1 year ago. And for me, it was strictly education. I found out how the little animals were killed with the traps and with the steel leg traps, and the dogs and cats and even people, horses were getting caught in the rural areas I'm speaking of. And then with the furs, how, you know, what is done with the furs when there's so many wonderful synthetics.
Yes.
So that's, but I feel that people should make their own decisions.
Why are actors acting out there and speaking up and everything in the world?
People listen to them for some reason.
Do you really believe that?
Yes, I do, because I think actors are able to express themselves, and they give themselves the liberty to express themselves, where your average, sometimes you're a layman.
Yes.
And I'm not putting them down.
Yes,
I thank God for them. But they don't feel compelled enough to get out there, but they will follow an actor.
But it takes a lot of their time to do that.
Yes, it does. I march. I do a lot of marching. A lot of
for animals.
This is This is June 10th, 1990. This is the big march. This is the one we're getting ready for. That takes place in Washington D.C. And that's when all the different animal organizations are coming together, and we are marching. We start at the Washington Monument, and we end up at the Capitol, and we go down Pennsylvania Avenue. So I'm going to be there, and there's going to be thousands of people and dignitaries. It's going to be very exciting.
But you keep working as an actress a lot.
Yes, I do.
You did General Hospital a lot?
Recurring. I just did a recurring role as a Nurse Stevens. Don't I look like a nurse? And then...
You do voiceovers also?
No, I don't.
Because you're a singer, see. Singers usually do
I've been told that I should, but you know, you have to be careful. You spread yourself too thin. And this is a major love of mine. So I consider that I have two professions.
That's nice. I love
Obedience dog training and acting, and then, of course, my husband. That's a profession.
How long have you been married?
Well, 3 years.
3 years? You know, I have a showcase, a celebrity night at...
You do.
Every Monday night, and it's a fun night to go out there, and I brought the best of my singers and performers.
Oh, wonderful.
Just a few of them, just to show my audience what's happening on Monday nights. And here's a young man I discovered. His name is Chasen, and I would like you to meet him right now. Ladies and gentlemen, Chasen. Let's hear it.
Have you ever loved with no return? Had to hide your feelings because you knew the other person didn't feel the same way you did? Well, this is out to all those lovely ladies, any lady USA. She loves me, she loves me not, she loves me. She loves me, she loves me not, she loves me. She loves me, she loves me not, she loves me. She loves me, she loves me, I just wanna love you. To tell me all about your boyfriend, but then he let you go. He broke your heart and made you sad, and then he left you all alone. Now I tell you, I don't have a girlfriend. I think you should know. Thinking about you makes me smile. I wanna let my feelings flow. So won't you be my girlfriend? I wanna see you tonight. Girlfriend, 'cause I can make you feel right. Girlfriend, I'll never ever let you go. Girlfriend, please girl, don't say no. I think about you every day and night, and everywhere I go. I think of how I'd like to hold you tight and let my feelings flow. So come on, girl, let's get together. Please, girl, don't say no. I know that we would last forever. I'd never, ever let you go. Girlfriend, I wanna see you tonight. 'Cause I can make you feel right. Girlfriend, I'll never ever let you go. Girlfriend, please girl, don't say no. Girlfriend, oh, girlfriend, be mine. Girlfriend, Mary. Girlfriend, please girl, don't say no. Girl, you know that I'm good to go. It's feelings for you that I want to show. I see you in the day, but not at night. You know I'm the one, I can make you feel right. You keep waiting, debating, faking, and shaking when I got the love that you should be taking. Got me hoping and wishing, I fear you'll reject when I say let's get this love in effect.
She loves me not, she loves me. She loves me, she loves me not, she
Lips
loves
for
me.
you, baby.
She loves me, she loves me not, she loves me. She loves me, she loves me, she loves me not, she loves me.
So come on, girl, let's get together. Please, girl, don't say no. I know that we would last forever. I'd never, ever let you go. Girlfriend, I wanna see you tonight. Girlfriend, 'cause I can make you feel so right. Please, girl, don't say no. Girlfriend, don't say no, don't say no. Girlfriend, oh, girlfriend, girlfriend, right. Girlfriend, are you gonna do me like that? Girlfriend, are you gonna do me like that, baby? Oh. Yeah.
Thank you, Jason. Very nice, isn't he?
Yeah.
Tell me something, Mary. You worked nightclubs, Murray, didn't you? Didn't you work nightclubs?
Well,
and did
really, not really at the Beverly Hilton Hotel at the Gaslight Club.
You sang and danced, or?
I sang and danced, but also I was in the stage version of Tom Jones at the Desert Inn in Las Vegas. I don't quite consider that a nightclub, but it was it was a lounge, but it was the stage version
Monday
of that
nights.
show.
You got to come Monday nights. It's fun. It's so.
I would
But we
love
have a
to.
lot of Europeans there on Monday. It's kind of strange. Here's a young lady, is Miss California. I liked her.
Oh.
She was Miss California of 1987. And she is absolutely beautiful. And she just got back, did a new movie, and she is getting a lot of work. This young lady tears the place apart every time she comes in. Once in a while, she just, she gets work on the road, but boy, she great. I like to present her right now. Miss California, Miss Donna Cherry. Ladies and gentlemen.
One of the nice things about being from California is that out of California we have so many stars. Now, of course, I know that's spelled backwards as rats. But at any rate, right now I have the privilege of introducing one such lady that could be with us here this afternoon that just came by, and I'd like to introduce her. She's a fabulous lady. I've long been a fan of hers from the very, very beginning. Please welcome the unstoppable, the very funny Miss Joan Rivers. Yeah! Woo! Oh, can we talk here? Can we talk? Oh, it's such a fabulous audience. I'm so glad you could all be here. We got a fabulous show lined up. I'm so excited. So without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring out my first guest. You saw her Moonstruck. She won her Academy Award, right? Before you know it, she'll be winning her Naval Academy Award, if you know what I'm talking about. If you saw her last video, it's like she's got dental floss going up and down. I was like, disgusting. So, now, please welcome to the stage none other than Cher. Woo! When you meet a boy that you like a lot. Woo! When you fall in lust, but you love him not. And what will you do when his bagels hatch and you realize it's no perfect match? The way of lust, the way of lust. Woo! Thanks, guys. Shit, what is she fabulous? Hi, ladies and gentlemen, I'd like to bring out my next guest. You know, she's my favorite country singer. I know you're going to love her no matter what country you're from. So, put your hands together for Miss Dolly Parton.
Tumble out of bed from all the fellers in it, fix my little wig and stick my head in it. The joke's on you, I don't work from 9 to 5. Working 9 to 5, how you critters make your living. If you think that I don't pull my weight for you, kid, and just start thinking twice, 'cause these puppies are my credits. It's enough to drive you crazy if you let it. 9 to 5, woo! you know, it seems like everybody I'm noticing nowadays is wanting to kind of cross over into other fields. They're not just happy with one field, right? So just the other day, there I was in a recording studio, minding my own business, and who should I see? None other than the famous opera singer, Miss Beverly Sills. And she was trying to recreate those old Motown hits by Diana Ross. Now, can you imagine that?
How was that, Diana?
That's right, baby. Keep going, Roger. You got it, baby. Thank you, baby. Well, baby, it's a little Wonder Bread, but I'll tell you how to do it. It goes something like this. Beverly, oh, Beverly, you sing my song so terribly. All you do is do me bad. Sing my song and make me mad. Tell me what can I do, baby?
that you can depend on, never once. Ain't no man that's rich enough, ain't no wig that's long enough, ain't no book that's bad enough to keep me from you. Mary Wilson, eat your heart out. Harry Gordy like to be me. Don't you try to ever compete. No one can beat me, 'cause I am supreme. Thank you. You really, thank you very much. You really are a beautiful audience. I love you. Don't ever change. I really do love you, but I love me more. And I really mean that. Well, baby, I just have one question. Who is Barbara Streisand?
You see, Roger, you gotta go a little more forward and then we're gonna find. I think it's 464, something like that. I'm so glad to be here at Skippy Lowe's show. We're here showing some of the best of Chiro's Pomodoro, and I think you know what I mean. I'm gonna sing a very, very important song. Something that's very, very special to me. You know, I never thought I could sing again in public. But with the starvation of minds and bodies that go on around us with the threat of nuclear war, I can no longer remain silent. We forget the importance, ladies and gentlemen, of one voice. That one voice, ladies and gentlemen, is my voice. All right, here we go. I'm going to sing what I really, really feel, yes. Don't tell me not to do the things I want to. So wanna be able to flop, I had to be true. There's only one of me and millions just like you. They told me don't repeat your roots in showbiz. Said commercial, what's commercial? I gotta make my point no matter what it is. I'm gonna live and have fun now that Don Johnson is done. Melanie Griffiths has won. Hey, 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 bitch. I'm still the greatest star. Thank you.
Right, Donna. Donna Cherry, tell me something. You're from, where are you from originally? Miss California, where?
Basically from the Los Angeles area. I was raised in San Gabriel. I was actually born in South America, in Colombia and Costa Rica, but
What's that music?
it's lovely, whatever it is.
Whatever it is, well, no, but tell, you grew up here, and what made Miss Donna Cherry, as a talented girl, get into Miss California? I mean, why?
Well,
'Cause you- go ahead.
honestly, I was working as a singing waitress also at a local Italian opera restaurant. And a Miss America came in, and she said she thought I'd be great, that it was 50% talent. And so I just put the different pieces to work together in order to prepare for the pageant, and ended up being a great career vehicle. So actually, it was simply as a vehicle. If that hadn't worked out, I'd done Star Search or something else. So, but it opened a lot of nice doors, and I'm real happy to have done it.
Where is Donna Cherry going from here?
I'm going to be playing at the Riviera next month in Las Vegas, which I've been playing there on and off. And I've just gotten a great producing package behind me for an album. So I'm real excited about that. Keep my fingers crossed. It looks like we have a real good shot with this new producer.
Donna Cherry, how many voices do you do? Because you're...
Wow, I probably do about 30. You have to condense it usually into about an 8-minute or 10-minute segment, depending on what show you do.
dance too, right?
Somewhat. I'd like to say I'm a better dancer than I am.
You're a dancer also, too. Yes.
Somewhat.
Yes.
Yeah, I do voiceovers. I of the different characters and that sort of thing, but
And
never.
I thank you so very much, Donna, for coming this afternoon. See, I just wanted you... Thanks, Donna. I just wanted you to see some of the people I have I'd love you to
Great.
come sometime,
I
Myra.
certainly will. I can't
You really-
wait. Thank
yeah,
you.
Believe me. Tell me about Yogi Bear's, your favorite pet?
Well, Yogi Bear is my own dog.
Your own dog,
And
okay.
he's done talk shows like this with me, and he's done parades. I made him all green with that hairspray
Right.
stuff.
Uh-huh.
Made him all green, and he does all the things that
I'd like to
little
see.
guys.
Can I see something?
Yeah,
that
let me
he
show you.
does?
I'll give you a small little demonstration here.
You want to take the thing?
Um,
you need? Yeah, just can walk around. Go ahead.
Can I wonder if I should take
Take
this
it off. Take it
okay,
off.
what you're going to see first, in
Yeah.
case I go off sound, you're going to see the 5 basic commands: sit, stay, down, come, and heel.
Okay.
Okay?
Yeah, just take it off.
And he's
You
had
can put it
6
back.
sessions. That's
Yeah.
all this little guy's had.
You can put it in your hand if you want to walk with it.
Okay.
You clip. Go ahead.
Sit. There, baby. Stay. Down. Good boy, Spencer. Spencer,
Ah.
come. Good boy.
More in the light. That's it.
Heel. That a baby. Heel. Heel. That a baby. That a boy. Heel. Good boy, Spencer. Down. Good boy.
Well, how old is Spencer?
Spencer, come. What a good boy.
Oh, wonderful, Spencer. How old is
Spencer
Spencer?
doesn't sing, but he did a beautiful job.
Yes.
Spencer is 2 years old.
2 years old.
Uh-huh.
And Spencer's. You're just teaching him what to do
Well,
now.
he's all finished.
He's all finished?
He did
you-
everything.
Uh-huh.
He even does hand signals, but I just did your 5 basic
Are you very
commands here.
expensive with these people charging?
No, I'm not.
reasonable?
In fact, I do a lot of charity work. Being an animal activist, I do a lot of charity work.
Uh-huh.
If people get a dog at the pound, they can call me and I will help them over the phone. I've
Really?
trained numerous dogs over the phone with potty training.
Uh-huh.
And I think one of the best things that people can do is go enroll in one of those those evening classes. It's like $50, $60,
Uh-huh.
$40 for like 11 weeks, and it's wonderful. And the best thing they can do, if they can't, say, afford a private
Uh-huh.
trainer or even that, or they don't have the time, buy a book. The most important thing that I say is get your doggy trained. It'll help prevent them from getting hit by a car, ending up at the pound, and it just really makes them a happy camper in your,
Are
in your
there a
family.
lot of dog lovers out there, Myra?
Oh, thank God, yes.
Are there?
Yes, I bet you are too.
I love dogs, yes. I had one I just lost, yes.
Yeah,
but
so-
I must tell you, living in the country, in a farm like you'd come from, must have been wonderful growing up.
It was, but if it weren't for the animals, I don't know what I would have done.
Really?
Being an only child.
Uh-huh.
And that sometimes can be sad, being an only child.
Uh-huh.
But I don't know. I wasn't lonesome. I would go out there and talk to the chickens and.
What made you get into become an actress?
Well, from the
First of
age
all.
of 9 years old, I was always singing and entertaining in front of audiences and doing, like I'm doing now, a lot of charity work. And the Kiwanis, the Odd Fellows, and you name the organization I performed for, singing and playing the piano. So I was used to it, and then people said, you should be an actress. You're a natural. You know how you hear those things.
You
So
keep yourself busy.
Yes, a little busy. Yes.
Married 2 years? Any children?
No,
just
no.
dogs, your animals. That's it.
Well, I have 2 children, a Doberman.
Dobermans, let's get, are dangerous.
A couple things here. It's the inbreeding, the proper inbreeding. Yes, they can be a little cuckoo, but so can cockers can be that way. If they're highly inbred,
Yeah.
something happens up here. So the best thing to do is look into the parents of the dog that you are going to get, if you possibly can. If it's a
I
puppy.
just heard that bull thing.
Yes.
Very dangerous.
bulls.
It's the owners. Are
It's
responsible.
it's
Is it?
partially the owners. It's also, once again, the breeding.
The breeding?
Because they're so highly, they're bred, and then it takes 50 generations to make a pure Staffordshire Terrier. Okay, and the pure Staffordshires, they don't have that kind of
I see.
personality.
I see.
But you get these macho people,
Yes.
and they say, I'm going to get myself a macho dog, and they do.
That's great.
And they don't train them, and then even when they are trained, Skip, and I have trained a few of them, they are different. And you have to handle them different. You have to be very cautious. I mean, this little guy, he's here today and he loves everybody. But if this were a pit, maybe he would, but
Change,
maybe
yeah.
he wouldn't.
Yeah, yeah,
So you
yeah.
have to be very careful in training them.
I have a young man I discovered 2 weeks ago. I predict a lot of things in this kid. I worked with this gentleman who sang this song and who made it, Unchained Melody. And many times I worked back east with this gentleman who used to make the record and sang this song. And this young man is he's only 17 years old. I'd like to present him right now. His name is Earl Washington, just a wonderful young singer.
Thank you very much. I've hungered for your touch the long, lonely time. And time, it goes by so slowly, and time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. Godspeed your love to me. Hey, yeah. Lonely rivers flow to the seas, to the seas, to the open arms of the sea. Lonely rivers sigh, wait for me, wait for me. I'll be coming home, wait for me. Whoa, my love, my darling, I've hungered for your touch a long, lonely time. Whoa, time, it goes by so slowly. Yeah, time can do so much. Are you still mine? I need your love. I need your love. Oh, Godspeed your love to me. To me.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Just wonderful. What do you think?
That was wonderful.
Thank you,
Spencer?
Earl, very,
Yeah.
very much. Thank you. I must, and Donna Cherry and Spence, and all you wonderful people. Chasen, thank you. They're all so very talented.
Yeah.
I just had to bring them today and just...
I loved it, and Spencer loved it.
And Spencer loved it too. And
Spencer, get here with your little face on camera.
so yes, get that little face. Come over here. I'd like to put them up here if you can come up here by me.
Come on, baby.
And I'd like
Come
to...
on. Here we go.
How much do they weigh, these dogs?
Dear,
Are
I
they
think we're
very-
talking like 40 pounds here.
40 pounds? Do they eat a lot?
Maybe 30.
Do they eat a lot, these dogs?
They get hungry, these guys.
Do they?
Especially as
Aw.
puppies. Once they get a little older, it starts weaning down.
Uh-huh,
But in the
uh-huh.
beginning, they're all hungry little campers.
How many dogs, when they breed dogs, how many do they have usually, the littering? What percent?
8, 9
they really?
sometimes, yes. Mhm.
Are they very expensive, these dogs?
It depends where you get them. You know, you can go and get them in from the newspaper and go take a look and take a look at the mother and the father.
Good morning.
Okay. most intelligent actress there is. That's what they called you in those days in the 40s.
Oh, what an accusation.
Intelligent lady who's an intelligent actress.
What an accusation. That sounds like a death sentence in
Does it really?
movies. Yeah, yeah.
Character actress. I mean,
Oh, now you've mentioned my proudest title. Yeah, I was called at one point Hollywood's youngest character actress, and I was pretty pleased about that because there were no two roles alike, and that's the way I wanted it.
uh-huh. From where are you actually from originally?
Well, I arrived, they tell me, in Evanston, Illinois,
Oh.
which I think is a suburb of Chicago, but I have no memory of it. I
Really?
was a babe in arms when we moved to New York, so all I know is New York City.
Top model.
I'm a New Yorker.
You were a
Yeah,
model.
yeah.
Tell me about your modeling days.
Well, the modeling was in order to pay for dramatic school. It was depression. But you see, I had it all figured out, Skip. I was going to be an actress in movies.
Uh-huh.
That's odd for a New Yorker. You'd think I would have been stage struck. No, it was films I was heading for. And there was, at that time, no training for motion pictures to be had in the United States. No college or university offered any course in
Really?
film. None. I looked. And since that's where I was headed and wanted to go, I had to figure out my own training for it. So I thought, well, I will go to a dramatic school. I'd better find out about the visuals, whether I photograph or not, and about grooming and hair and makeup and all that. So I will be a photographic model and learn about lights and cameras. Now sound, talkies had now come in. So what do I do about sound? Radio, of course. There was no TV, certainly then. So I will get myself on radio and find out about voice and how to use that with microphones.
Right.
And I devised this campaign. I became a Powers model at 16.
Powers model.
Oh yes, I was a John Powers. They added the Robert later. He wasn't that distinguished then. He was John Powers. He became John Robert Powers a little later. But at 16, I was through with school. And so that was the photographic end of it. Dramatic school was Theodora Irvin's studio for the theater. That was right in New York City. And she was a grand old lady of theater. She knew what she was talking about. And I had a series of auditions at NBC with my 16-year-old voice. And this is really too ironic to be believed, but it is true that as I was packing to come to California, NBC called to say that I had passed the most recent audition, and they were placing me on the NBC dramatic staff available for casting. Too late. Bye, I'm off to California.
You went to California. And what was your first film, actually?
The first movie, again, this is hard to believe, the first time I got paid to act, Skip, was the feminine lead in a major studio feature film seen around the world. That's a terrible way to learn your craft in front of a world audience.
Right.
It was a Paramount film called The Virginia Judge, and I was Mary Lou from Virginia, and I was, I had two, not one, but two leading men. One of them, Bob Cummings.
Robert Cummings, wonderful.
And it was also his first picture, and Johnny Downs, who was had been a leading boy in the Our Gang Comedy Kids, all grown up and very handsome, and now doing television in San Diego. The Virginia Judge himself was a fine old vaudevillian named Walter C. Kelly, and they strung a lot of his kind of homespun humor and wisdom. He was a kind of Will Rogers character, and he also had a niece named Grace. Grace Kelly came on the scene sometime later, but this was Walter C. Kelly. That was my first picture.
Lana Turner. You worked with this great lady in a film.
Her very first lead.
Her first
Yeah,
lead? What
Lana
was it?
had been discovered, but they didn't give her the feminine lead in something until These Glamour Girls.
These Glamour Girls, that's it. Yeah, working with her.
It was an interesting film about a...
Was she blonde then?
Oh yes,
She
very
was
blonde. And with such a beauty, such a figure. It was about a house party at Princeton, but it was, of course, called Kingston. And there were 6 girls and 6 fellas come to the weekend house party.
Right.
And Lana was Dima Dance Hall, Roseland,
Right.
Ballroom hostess, who had been invited in a drunken moment by rich Lowe Ayars.
Oh, lovely.
Only she took his invitation seriously and showed up for the weekend, to everyone's embarrassment, because she was not one of us. I was a campus widow who had been around these coming out parties and things once too many times, and I was getting a little shrill and a little desperate, and I wound up killing myself.
You were very young in that film, too.
My first suicide. I was
very young.
21, I think.
And
I was
playing
all
older
of 21.
parts all the time.
And I what?
You were always playing older parts.
Not always. You
character
see,
parts.
among all these other things, I got to play old ladies, but only young people who go through the years into old age.
Right, right.
That one followed these glamour girls. The very picture after. That's what I mean by variety and character actress. That's what made me so enchanted and happy with what happened to me at Metro, at MGM.
Because you can do so many roles. Am I right?
I got to, and I
To
could
do so many roles, so many types of roles.
Every time they had
Like
a
Laurence
puzzle
Olivier,
about
right?
how to cast a role, they'd say, throw it to Marsha, see what she'll do with it. And I thought that was the highest compliment. Yeah.
Like a Laurence Olivier. He was.
Let's not compare me to Olivier, but
he did so many character roles. He's always playing.
He loved it, and he loved wearing noses.
Noses.
As a matter of fact, I wore a nose in my first old age film because it's such a curly. I don't know. Have you got a?
Yes. Okay.
I'll turn sideways.
Yes.
It's such a curly profile that they thought nobody will ever believe you're old. So they built me a nose, a straight nose. And we knew it was time to break for lunch when the heat from the lights got so bad that this nose began to slide slowly off my face. And they had to put a new one on during lunch hour.
Margaret O'Brien. I just watched this movie just a...
Which movie?
The one you did with Margaret O'Brien.
When I did.
She's always crying.
I did.
You did many. How many?
I did 2 with Margaret.
2? With James, I think it was
James Craig. That's my favorite. That's called Lost Angel.
Tell me about that movie. I just saw it. It was wonderful. Is that your favorite?
It's one of my favorites, certainly. Margaret was 6, and she was pure enchantment. She was an instinctive, conscientious, greatly gifted young actress. And it's interesting you mentioned Lost Angel because it was in the course of that film that I met Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine, whom we are honoring in a few nights for their lifespan of writing great, great songs for films and motion pictures. I played a nightclub singer. And I sang I've Got You Under My Skin, and Hugh wrote me a very special arrangement of Under My Skin, and that's when we first met. And it was a talent love affair ever since. I heard some of the other things they had written, and I've been their slave
MGM
ever
Studios
since.
was wonderful working, thinking back. Marsha?
Do you know, I knew the age was golden, Skip. But I didn't know the days were numbered.
Those days were great, aren't they?
I didn't know it could ever end.
What do you think is going to happen with our business with the young people trying to become actors today?
It's so crowded a jungle.
Everyone wants to be an actor.
Unless everyone, because our nation has grown to be such worshippers of celebrity. Celebrity or notoriety, it doesn't matter what you're famous for, slitting your husband's throat or, you know, drinking your bath water or being an addict, doesn't matter. Just so you're famous. Then you write a book, a bestseller, and everyone wants your autograph. We're very sick. We're very sick in this country. We worship fame for its own sake. And that being so, every youngster, what do you want to be? Famous? That's all they know.
That quick money.
It doesn't matter what they're going to be famous for. But I think in order to have careers at acting shaped and nurtured and developed to a point of fulfillment, we're going to have to get back to a studio system, a major studio system. I don't know that we ever will, but I think it would take that for careers ever to have what I just said.
Yeah. Got to have
some growth, some development.
Yes. Marsha Hunt, Lionel Barrymore. Tell me about Lionel Barrymore.
We worked together in 2 pictures. One was a thing with Bob Sterling. I did two with Bob as my leading man.
Right.
Robert Sterling, who's Anne Jeffrey's husband.
Love her.
Was it The Penalty or I'll Wait for You? It was one of them. The Penalty.
Yes.
You know it better than
Yes,
I
yes,
do,
yes.
Skip.
I did some homework. on you, darling. Go ahead.
All right, it was The Penalty.
Yes.
And he was in his wheelchair by then.
Right. He was in his wheelchair by then.
Yeah. But it was just a joy to watch that man work. What a gorgeous
He never
actor
complained
he
on the
was.
set at all.
Never. But if you happened to be walking on the lot at the end of the day as he was working his way back to his dressing room building,
Right.
you heard him groan with every step because he was in so much pain.
Oh, really?
That was before the wheelchair became permanent. The other film we did together was Valley of Decision.
Right. Right.
Marvelous, overlooked film with one of the greatest casts, I think, of you know, anything I've been connected with. Greer Garson, young Gregory Peck, Gladys Cooper, once voted the most beautiful woman in England, or maybe the world.
In the world.
Probably the world. Donald Crisp, who was the head of a great dynasty of steel wealth in Pittsburgh. Their children, who were, see, Greg Peck was the son. I was a twin, Marshall Thompson, who starred in Daktari,
Right.
was my twin brother. Dan Duryea was another brother.
God, some people you've been with.
Lionel Barrymore, Preston Foster, Jessica Tandy.
Oh, well, great.
It won't stop, this cast.
Yes.
And it's a rather wonderful film. I hope somebody gives it another go-round on TV. It deserves it. I had a lovely role. I played a flighty, willful, spoiled, not necessarily heart of gold, rather selfish, self-centered, but certainly not evil, who comes through at the end with flying colors. I elope with a Englishman.
Brandon DeWilde. What a tragic life. What a wonderful
his
young
name
actor.
DeWilde, yeah. I never knew
Is
why.
it Brandon DeWilde?
Yeah,
Wonderful
he liked
actor.
it pronounced that, yes. I saw him in Member of the Wedding on Broadway, and like everyone, fell in love with him. And then I worked as his mother with MacDonald Carey playing his father, and Carol Lindley, his first love.
Right, that's right.
And I remember I wrote a poem, Brandon DeWilde certainly filled a need I had for a teenage lad to call my own, though he's just on loan. It went on and on. But the idea was that I was very happy to be his mother.
Was it Blue Demon?
Blue Denim.
Blue Denim. What a wonderful movie that was. That
It was
a
an important movie. I think it's the first time that abortion came up on the big screen for discussion and even for examination as to whether it was a good or a bad idea for really adolescent kids who were nowhere near parent age or responsibility, but you couldn't get away in that day with having the abortion as the right solution. She had to go ahead and have it and have both their lives chained down before they even knew who they were. They were children having children. You know.
Marsha Hunt, have you enjoyed doing all this, looking back? Have you enjoyed being in the films
because
under contract?
I don't look back, and it's kind of a refreshing treat, Skip, to have you throw names at me from the past, because I honestly dwell so much in the present that I have to confess to you that I forget for, maybe weeks at a time that I was or am an actress. I lead a very full life. In another gear, I shifted at some point.
Because you are doing something right now that I love very much.
Good.
You
I'm
are the
glad you love
mayor.
it.
You are the mayor of the homeless, for the homeless
Well,
people.
I'm an honorary mayor
but you're
of
helping.
Sherman Oaks.
Of Sherman Oaks.
And Sherman Oaks, in turn, is part of Los Angeles, and Tom Bradley is the real, very fine, real mayor of...
Is he really Is he really good for the homeless? Mayor Bradley.
Yes, he cares.
He does
care, but the city is very late in coming around to the necessary role it has to play. You know, in the last 12 years, I would say, no, the last 10 years, America has been expected to take care of people in need out of the private sector.
Right.
It was not government's job. It was suddenly yours and mine.
Yes.
To do something. I quite agree that it's our job to take care of people in need, but it is also our government's job.
Yes.
I feel very passionate about this. They started talking about armaments as security.
Uh-huh.
I think security is when the people of a nation can feel secure, that there's a roof over their heads and that there will be a meal in the near future.
Right.
That is security, when you know you can eat and sleep in safety.
Safety.
I don't worry about the atomic bomb nearly as much as I worry about the millions of homeless people
Really?
who are allowed to live like animals. They're having to scavenge out there because they have no place to go. No place. And this is why 8 years ago, when they made me honorary mayor, I thought, well, I'd better put that title to some. And
why does
talking
our
up a
government
thirst.
help others and other countries, not our own people, when our own people need
I
help?
would love to have that explained. I believe in foreign aid very strongly.
I do too, but
First. Now, the homeless phenomenon is just that. It's new, it's recent.
right.
We've always had skid rows of people who couldn't conform to the 9-to-5 world,
Yes.
or for whatever reason dropped out of society.
Right.
And the big cities of I guess, every country have had those people who are homeless, usually by choice or
Yes.
by alcohol, making the choice for them. But for American midstream citizens to be thrown out of work, to be suddenly evicted because they can't meet the next rent payment,
Yes.
with their families, if the car hasn't been repossessed, then they all dwell in the family car.
Yes.
And they're not as visible in a car, but they're there.
There are many in the car.
By the 100,000, whole families.
Hundreds
Yeah,
of thousands
yeah, yeah.
of homeless in cars, living in cars. What do you do about this, Marsha? I mean, I see tears in your eyes right now. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to. But I see you are very, very
Well,
caring
it's
about
where
this.
the
You
last
care.
8 years have gone, and trying to do what was possible to do.
Right.
Certainly, the Valley Mayor's Fund for the Homeless, which is what I got started 8 years ago.
Right.
Because there are many communities in the San Fernando Valley, and I pulled all the honorary mayors together and said, we have a problem in the valley. We've got homeless people by the thousands.
Right.
And what are we going to do about it? And this is how we got started. And this is 8 years later. What my outfit did was to
Yes.
try to fill a vacuum, because the San Fernando Valley is very new. It came into settlement post-World War II.
Right.
And that's just the last 40, 50 years. And there was nothing ready for hard times. Nothing. So the Valley Mayor's Fund, first job was to acquaint the Valley citizenry with the fact that there were homeless people who were not, quote, bums,
Yes.
and that many of them were victims of the economy or emotional trauma of some kind, and that since we house and clothe and feed our criminals,
Right.
we had better start doing that for our homeless who have broken no law. They just have no place to go. So that educate the
Right.
Valley public, help bring about facilities that were desperately needed, shelters, services of every kind that are needed for them, and 3, raise funds to help those things come about.
Right.
And to keep them open, to keep them operating.
Well, that's what happens. The government of this country are closing them up. When Reagan got into office, Reagan took out the homeless. He brought all, I mean, you realize what he did? He closed all the mental people, and they came from the mental institutions.
They had
and
nowhere to
became,
go.
Is that it?
They were supposed to be community mental health centers where maybe the hometown setting would ring a bell and remind them and help them reconnect with reality.
Right.
It's a lovely concept,
Right.
which predates Reagan's presidency. It goes back, I believe, to Kennedy, way back. Except that the communities were not ready for them. There were not mental health centers in the communities, and the families that could or would readmitted their mentally ill relatives.
Right.
But many of them couldn't because of just didn't have a spare bedroom or a place to put them.
Right.
Or they wouldn't because it was an embarrassment. And for whatever reason, those homeless hordes that were just pushed out of all the state asylums,
Right.
all the mentally ill who were not considered a danger to themselves and or others, are out there wandering the streets,
right.
so defenseless, such targets
They don't know where they are.
for
do they?
rapists, for muggers, for people out for thrill. It's criminal and it's heartbreaking, and
Marsha?
they need protection.
Marsha
Yeah.
Hunt, you've been out there. You've talked to many of these homeless. What have they said to you? What have they? You've asked them the questions. What have they come up and?
They want a job. They want a job.
But people out there said, no, they're bums.
I know.
That's not true,
I
is
know.
it?
Mind you, there are all shapes and sizes and flavors of homeless people.
Right.
There are addicts. There are the mentally ill. There are the undocumented Central Americans who have crossed the border illegally, but they're here and they're hungry.
Yes.
And they want work. The reason they came here was maybe for safety from all the civil wars and turmoil in the Middle East, but they want jobs, they want self-respect, they want to be self-supporting. And it's almost impossible to get yourself out of homelessness without help. And that's why we in the Valley Mayor's Fund for the
Right.
Homeless are working toward establishing something to be called Day Haven.
Day Haven.
Day Haven will provide services that all homeless people need in order to get out of homelessness. There will be showers where they can get clean, and before the homeless
know.
eat, they want to get clean.
They do.
A shower costs $2 at the Y. If you have $2, and if you don't, you start stinking, and nobody's going to let
Do they
you
feel?
near
Do
them.
they feel ashamed that other people are looking? They do, Marsha,
Of course.
don't they? And they look.
So
at them.
first they want to get clean. They want to shave and shampoo and start smelling sweet again.
Uh-huh.
Then they eat. A snack bar that would not have junk food, but some really nourishing soups and sandwiches and fruits and things, the kind of nutrition that they've been doing without, which has weakened them and weakened their resistance to disease. A very caring, capable man said that a lot of Skid Rows are epidemics waiting to happen because these people's resistance is so lowered by malnutrition and exposure that TB, you name it, can sweep through those crowded sections of Skid Rows.
Yes. A lot of children.
Oh
out there.
gosh!
Lots
Well,
of
this
children.
is the phenomenon: is that the fastest growing category of homeless people is families. And you tell me what happens to children who have to curl up under a bush or a freeway overpass or behind in a parking lot behind a building so they won't be driven out where they can't be seen from the street.
Right.
How do they get their schooling? How do they get values? And they have to be hung on to by their mother. It's usually a mother. Now and then it's both mother and father.
Welfare.
To keep
Can't
them
get
out of-
welfare because they have no address.
You need an address.
an address.
Catch
Why?
22.
That's
Day Haven would give them that address. They would be given mailboxes
yes.
so they could receive mail there. They would be given lockers so they could store their last worldly possessions and not have to schlep them around on their backs. They would have laundry machines where they could cleanse the clothes they've been living in and dry them, try on rooms for donated clothing until they find something that fits and that is becoming, so they can go look for a job with a hope of looking competent and pulled together. A first aid station to take care of their injuries and their ailments. And most important of all, counseling booths, one-on-one, where they talk with a trained person who can quickly identify that person's condition, mental and physical. can find out how long that person has been homeless, and there's damage done. The longer you're homeless, the more you're damaged. You cannot live like that and remain totally sane, totally adjusted for very long.
No.
Anyhow, all of this is ascertained. What kind of skill, if any, there is? If not, there's a referral to a skill training course somewhere. Maybe what is needed is more English, better English as a second language. Again, referral to where they can learn to speak English better.
Yes.
And be qualified, better qualified for a job. So it goes. This place, this day haven, would refer them to casual labor, part-time jobs, or even good jobs.
Yes.
Because some very competent people show up.
Marsha Hunt,
That's what we hope to do.
you're doing something very beautiful.
Well, it feels good to be doing what we're
Are
able
you
to do.
bitter with our government?
I'm very angry with
I
our,
am.
with our,
I am.
our,
Very,
our
very much
federal
so.
government, and also
am.
with the state government for making the terrible cuts in help to the mentally ill.
Right.
They are helpless. They need our help. They need society's help, and that has to come out of our taxes. Our taxes are there for a reason.
Yes.
To
Why do people
to
don't
help
want to pay
give
taxes?
people an
Why
even
don't the
break.
rich want to pay those taxes? Why, Marsha?
How do you get rich except by acquiring and hanging on to it?
Don't they
No,
like
there
to
are very generous rich people. I
Some
don't
are.
mean to say they're not.
No, but some are. Some
Sure.
really are.
Sure.
You've had a lot. This Valley homeless thing right now, you're having a big thing at the Westwood Playhouse. Tell me about that
This is
evening.
going to be,
With Michael Feinstein playing the piano?
it's Feinstein.
Feinstein.
It's rhyming.
It is
It's Feinstein, I
Okay.
learned.
Michael always tells me
Like
that.
Leonard Bernstein
Oh,
was
okay.
a Stein.
Tell me about it.
Well, this is a love story. Back in the early 40s, when I was at MGM, I met a pair of young songwriters, still in their 20s, named Hugh Martin and Ralph Blaine. And they had been brought out by Metro to make a film of their first Broadway show called Best Foot Forward.
Right.
And the big hit from that, Buckle Down, Winsaki, Buckle
With Tommy
Down. And also with the show and with Martin and Blaine came June Allison and Nancy Walker.
Right, they were both in it.
And they both had their star careers grow
and I was
out of
one
that
of the cadets
first show.
in it. I'm not going to tell you, but I was one of the little cadets in that. 12 years old. Go ahead. Let's go.
You were in
I
it.
was in it. Go ahead.
Skip, I
My
had no
first movie.
idea. All right. The next thing of real